Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie at Gremlin Coaching, where we help strong women flourish after major life transitions. We're continuing our series on energy blocks, and you remember we started with outer blocks, which are things outside of us, and sometimes we can change those outer blocks, and sometimes we just have to change our attitude about them. And then we talked about inner blocks. The first one was limiting beliefs, which is just general ideas about the world that we have picked up from different places, and we've just never challenged whether those are true or not. Then we talked about interpretations, which are stories that we make up in our mind about situations that we don't have enough information on. Then last week we talked about assumptions, which is where we decide that because something happened in our past, it's automatically going to happen again today. I just want to remind you, if you have not watched all the videos, if you're just starting now or whatever, you can watch all of my videos either on the Facebook business page, or you can go to my website at kimberlincoaching.com. Go on the Springboard tab, and then you can watch all of them at your leisure. So today we're going to be talking about the Big Daddy, which is Gremlins. So first of all, have you ever had any of these thoughts? I'm not good enough to fill in the blank. I'm not smart enough to fill in the blank. Who am I kidding? No matter how much I practice, I'm never going to be good enough to fill in the blank. I don't have enough experience to fill in the blank. I don't deserve great success. They're going to all figure out that I'm not as smart as they think I am. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough, period. This is the Gremlin speaking. If you have ever had these thoughts, probably you've all had one or more of these thoughts at different times in your life. A gremlin lies inside each one of us. You know that little voice in your head, the one that tells you not to try, play it safe, don't take a risk. You always need to take the safe road, and this little voice makes you compromise your life by always playing small. That's your gremlin, and the message from your gremlin is very simple. It's just that you're not good enough. Your gremlin is highly personal, and it has the most intense emotional charge of any of our inner blocks. This is the top of the list. Like I said, this is the Big Daddy. When your gremlin speaks, it's very hard not to listen. And when you do listen, you're not going to do whatever it is you're thinking of doing, because the gremlin is going to tell you, don't do it. You're going to fail. You're going to embarrass yourself. You can't do this. So some typical gremlin statements are, like I said earlier, you're not good enough. You can't do this. Don't even try. You're going to embarrass yourself. So gremlins can be large or small, but we all have them. They usually come from your past. You may even know where it came from. Maybe when you were in third grade, you had to get up at the blackboard and you had to work out a math problem in front of the class, and you did it wrong, and the teacher made fun of you, and the kids laughed, and you were so embarrassed, and you thought, man, that is not going to happen again. Or maybe your parents always told you you're stupid, you can't ever do anything right. So it makes sense that your gremlin would keep on telling you, you're stupid, you can't do it. Don't try anything, because if you do, you're going to fail, you know you are, and you're going to embarrass yourself. So if you have a very large or deep gremlin stemming from child abuse or trauma, you may need to get therapy to help you dig this out and recover from it. But most of us can get power over our gremlins with some inner work, either by ourselves or with a coach. Unlike therapy, coaching does not focus on the reason behind the problem, where it began, but we want to focus on processes that will help us accept and disempower this gremlin. So one of our coaching processes is called AIR, A-I-R. The AIR is for awareness. First, we bring the gremlin to the surface with what actually is it saying? What is our gremlin saying? And if you know where it came from, that can be helpful, but it's not necessary. So I is for integration, accepting that this is an important part of us. It was created as a way to protect us. It's to keep us from being hurt or embarrassed. And R is for release. We can let go of the gremlin's control over us and work with it. Sometimes just identifying the gremlin and challenging its statements that it makes to you are enough to be able to stop being hindered by this gremlin. So to repeat, the first step in facing your gremlin is to identify it. If the voice inside of you is talking about your limitations and not your greatness, that's your gremlin talking. Next, look at exactly what your gremlin is saying. Consider starting a journal entry that you can keep up whenever these things occur, so you can start noticing when the gremlin is talking to you. A lot of times you may not even realize what is going on, but as you work on this, you can start to realize when a thought pops in your head, oh, that's my gremlin talking to me. So when you want to do something and you just can't get there, look at that. See what you're thinking at the moment. Look at the feeling that you're having. If your feeling could talk, what would it be saying to you? So finally, decide on something to say to your gremlin when it's talking to you. So the thing is to remember that this gremlin was created in order to protect you. The gremlin thinks you don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to fail in front of people. And it's just trying to protect you. It's not trying to hurt you, but you don't need this gremlin anymore. You may have needed it as a child, but you don't need it anymore. So think of something that you can say to it. So when it's telling you, don't take the risk, you're gonna mess up, you can say, thank you for the warning, but I think I'm gonna be okay. Whatever you think of, next time that the gremlin speaks to you, speak back. Tell it what you had planned to say, and then realize and notice how you feel about that. You can keep tweaking your statement until you find something that feels right, and then every time the gremlin speaks to you, speak back to it. So if you remember the list about the things I haven't achieved yet, if you have that, or if you don't, make it whenever you want to. Look at it again. Look at the items and decide which of those are on the list because of your gremlin. Which things have you not accomplished because you listened to the gremlin and you played it safe and you thought you weren't good enough to do it? Try using the process I just described and commit to working on one of those, seeing where your gremlin has been holding you back, and write down your answers in your journal. So if you feel like you need some help overcoming your gremlin, please consider hiring me as your coach. There are some more different ways to work on overcoming your gremlin that I was able to tell you about tonight. And sometimes gremlin work is kind of difficult to do on your own. If that's something you're open to learning about, please go to my website, KimberlinCoaching.com. Fill out the form at the bottom of the Work With Me page, and I will contact you, and we can have just an easygoing conversation and decide where we want to go from there. Meanwhile, I hope you learned something good today, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.